Welcome to the Ultimate Sports Podcast. Today is Friday, September 6, 2019. Today I'm going to recap yesterday's NFL opener between the Packers and the Bears, go over what's on the docket for the U.S. Open, baseball, look back on yesterday's games, look ahead to tonight's games, picks for college football and the NFL coming up against the spread and over-under, or pick your poison, whatever one I go for each game, and my best bet of the day. Okay, we're going to start with the NFL. Packers-Bears. The Packers come out on top in an ugly game by a score of 10-3. Neither quarterback played particularly well. There's a lot of buzz about Mitch Trubisky and classic overreaction Monday. Well, in this case, it's Friday, and how Trubisky sucks and they should have taken Watson or Mahomes and yada yada. It's just 1 week. Get over it, people. Green Bay's 1-0. Chicago's 0-1. Rodgers 18-30, 203 yards and a touchdown. Mitch Trubisky 26-45, 228 yards and an interception. The Bears, the most exciting thing their fans had to do was give their kicker, Eddie Pinheiro, a standing ovation for making a 38-yard field goal. I had that as their biggest weakness coming into the season. That gave them a 3-0 lead. Second quarter, Rodgers to Jimmy Graham for 8 yards, 7-3 Packers. And then in the fourth quarter, Mason Crosby 39 yards to make it a 10-3 game. Nice win for the Packers to open the season, open Matt LaFleur's tenure as the coach, and a very head-scratching and demoralizing defeat for the Chicago Bears. Next week, Green Bay hosts the Minnesota Vikings, and Chicago goes to Denver to take on Joe Flacco and the Denver Broncos. We'll talk about those games next week. Okay, now we'll move on to tennis. We'll start in the men's. 4 o'clock, ESPN, Daniil Medvedev against Grigor Dimitrov. I'm going to take Medvedev here to advance. 6:30 ESPN, Matteo Berrettini against Rafael Nadal. I'm taking Nadal to advance. And then on Sunday, you're going to have Medvedev and Nadal. I'm going to take Nadal to win this thing. He's the best one left on the men's side. And yes, it's a chalk pick, but I'm going to go with Nadal. And I won't be surprised if Medvedev ends up winning this thing. Women's side. You have Serena Williams over Alina Svitolina in 2 sets, and Bianca Andreescu over Belinda Bencic in 2 sets. So your final from Arsharath Stadium tomorrow afternoon, 4 o'clock ESPN, you have 15-seeded Bianca Andreescu and 8-seeded Serena Williams. I'm going to take Serena here. She's the better tennis player, and this is her time to shine, and I think she's going to win the U.S. Open. So give me Serena Williams here on the women's side. Now I'll move on to baseball. Not that many games on the docket from last night. So I'm going to go over the games and then look ahead to tonight's games as well. You had the Reds defeat the Phillies 4-3 in 11 innings on a walk-off home run by Phillip Ervin. Cincinnati 66-75, Phillies 72-67. Matt Bowman the win, Nick Vincent the loss. Starting for the Reds in this game was Sonny Gray, who's been great all year. 6 innings, 4 hits, an earned run, no walks, 7 strikeouts, ERA 2.75. Jason Vargas, 5 in the third innings, 4 hits, 2 earned runs, no walks, 6 strikeouts, ERA 4.27. White Sox over Indians, 7-1. The White Sox are 62-78, Cleveland 81-60. Reynaldo Lopez the win, Zach Plesac the loss. Lopez, the complete game, 1 hit, 1 earned run, 3 walks, 11 strikeouts, ERA 5.17. He's had a fine second half of the season. Zach Plesac, 5 innings, 8 hits, 6 earned runs, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts, ERA 3.98, so a lousy start for him. Tigers over the Royals 6-4. Detroit 41-97, Casey 51-90. Matt Boyd the win, George Sparkman the loss, Joe Jimenez the save. Boyd, 6 in the third innings, 10 hits, 3 runs, no walks, 6 strikeouts, ERA 4.67. Sparkman, 4 innings, 7 hits, 4 runs, no walks, and 2 strikeouts, ERA 5.02. 9-7. Cardinals over the Giants 10-0. The Cardinals are 79-61. San Francisco 67-73. Dakota Hudson the win. Logan Webb the loss. And getting the multi-inning save, Genesis Cabrera. Dakota Hudson, 6 innings, 1 hit, no runs, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts, ERA 3.4. He was excellent. Logan Webb, 2 2/3 innings, 8 hits, 7 runs, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts, ERA 6.5. Athletics over the Angels, 10-6. Oakland with the big win, 81-58. LA, 65-76. AJ Puk the win, first big league win. Ty Buttery the loss. Brett Anderson started the game, 5 innings, 9 hits, 5 runs, no walks, 4 strikeouts, ERA 4.19. And Puk in his first win, 2 innings, a hit and a run, a walk, 2 strikeouts, his ERA 4.15. And starting for the LA Angels was indeed an opener. Luke Bard, an inning, a hit and a run, no walks, and a strikeout, ERA 5.2. Jose Suarez in relief, 5 1/3 innings, 5 hits, 2 runs, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts, ERA 6.45. Marlins over the Pirates 10-7. Cool thing in this game is that Brian Morgan made his big league debut for the Marlins, and he struck out his younger sibling, Colin Moran, of the Pirates. So I just wanted to point that out. Miami 50-89, Pittsburgh 61-79. And Moran gets the win for Miami, so that's pretty neat. And Dario Grayson gets the loss. And Alicia Hernandez started the game. He was pretty much an opener. He just lasted 3 innings, 7 hits, 3 runs, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts, or 5.23, 70 pitches too. So maybe that had to do with it. Grazel, 4 1/3 innings, 9 hits, 5 runs, 2 walks, and a strikeout, ERA 4.94. Rangers over the Orioles 3-1. Texas is 69-73. Baltimore 46-94. Colby Allard the win. Jalen Means the loss. Jose Leclerc the save. Allard 6 1/3 innings, 8 hits and a run, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts, ERA 3.78. Jalen Means 6 2/3 innings, 4 hits, 2 runs, no walks, 4 strikeouts, ERA 3.5. That was a quality start for him. Cubs over the Brewers 10-5. The Cubs 76-63. Milwaukee 71-68. Jose Quintana the win. Matt Albers the loss. Quintana 5 innings, 5 hits, 4 runs, 2 walks, and 5 strikeouts, ERA of 4. Chase Anderson 4 innings, 5 hits, 2 runs, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts, ERA 4.58. Twins over the Sox 2-1. Boston drops to 75-65. Minnesota 87-53. Martin Perez the win. Andrew Cash the loss. Trevor Rogers the save. Perez 6 innings, 2 hits and a run, 2 walks, and a strikeout, ERA 4.75. Eovaldi 5 innings, a hit and a run, 4 walks, 3 strikeouts, ERA 5.77. Rays over the Blue Jays 6-4. Tampa is 83-59. Toronto 55-86. Oliver Drake the win. And getting charged with the loss for Toronto was Buddy Boshers, and getting the save for Tampa, Emilio Pagan. Austin Pruitt started 5 innings, 4 hits and a run, a walk, 4 strikeouts, ERA 4.43. Trent Thornton 4 2/3 innings, 4 hits and a run, 3 walks, 4 strikeouts, ERA 5.23. Braves over the Nationals 4-2. Atlanta 87-54. Washington 78-61. Max Fried the win. Steven Strasburg the loss. Fried 7 innings, a hit, no earned runs, no walks, 9 strikeouts, ERA 3.86. That was an excellent performance by Fried. Strasburg quality outing for him too. 6 innings, 4 hits, 3 runs, 4 walks, 7 strikeouts, ERA 3.5. Astros over the Mariners 11-9, 13 innings on a walk-off homer by Michael Brantley. This game ended very late into the wee hours of the morning. Houston 91-50, Seattle 58-83. Josh James the win. Matt Whistler the loss. Getting the start for Houston was Wade Miley. Didn't even record it now. 5 innings, 5 earned runs, and walk and no strikeouts. ERA 3.35. That was his worst outing of the year. Marco Gonzalez 5 1/3 innings, 7 hits, 4 runs, 5 walks, and no strikeouts. ERA 4.37. Looking ahead to tonight, you have the Yankees at the Red Sox from Fenway Park. Domingo Germán and Julius Chacín. Chacín making his debut for the Red Sox. Cardinals Pirates. Miles Mikolas and Joe Musgrove. Rangers against the Orioles. Brian Burke and Dylan Bundy. Phillies Mets from Citi Field. Big one for the Mets. Steven Matz and Zach Eflin both for big teams, or both teams obviously. Blue Jays Rays. Clay Buchholz and Brendan McKay. Diamondbacks, Reds. Robbie Ray and Tyler Mahle. I see Ray, that made me think of the Rays. Nats, Braves at 7:20. Patrick Corbin, Dallas Keuchel. Royals, Marlins, also a 7 o'clock game. I just forgot to click on it. Jorge Lopez and Pablo Lopez. So the battle of the Lopez's there. 8 o'clock, Angels, White Sox. You have Dylan Peters against Lucas Giolito. Cubs, Brewers. You got Zach Davies and Cole Hamels. Mariners, Astros. Tommy Malone, probably preceded by an opener. And Framber Valdez. Indians, Twins. You have Adam Pluko and Michael Pineda. Tigers, Athletics at 10 o'clock. Stephen Turnbull and Homer Bailey. Rockies, Padres. You have Daniil Lamet and, for Colorado, Tim Melville. And last but not least, Giants, Dodgers from Dodger Stadium. Jeff Samardzija and Clayton Kershaw. Now we'll move on to what everybody's looking forward to, the picks. We're going to start in college football. We will start tonight. You have 4 games on the docket tonight. 2 FBS versus FBS and 2 FCS versus FBS. And some of them are interesting and some of them are not really all that interesting. So, without further ado, here we go. The lines are courtesy of DraftKings. First, you have Wake Forest and Rice. Rice is getting 20 at home. The over-under is 58.5. I am taking Wake Forest to win this game, and I am taking the under. Why under? Because Rice's defense really showed me something against Army the other day. But this is a little bit risky because obviously I was not impressed with Army, and I think that it was more about Army. But I could see this being a, say, 40-10 victory for Wake Forest. And even if that's the case, under. You have William & Mary at Virginia. Virginia's favored by 32.5. The over-under is 52.5. I am taking Virginia to win, and I'm taking them to cover 2. Marshall, Boise State at 9 o'clock. Boise favored by 12.5. The over-under is 57. I love Boise State to win this game, but I'm taking the over 57. I think they're going to put up a lot of points in this game, and I think Marshall's going to put up a lot of points. So the over 57 minus 109 right now in DraftKings I think is very valuable. Arizona State hosts Sacramento State. Arizona State's favored by 35 points. The over under 63.5. I'm taking Arizona State to win, but the play here is the over. I just think that Arizona State's going to score and score and score. And I think that Sacramento State might have the offense to kind of show for in garbage time. So I think that's an overplay here. On Saturday at 11 o'clock, you have Ohio at Pitt. Pitt's laying 4. The over-under is 53.5. Guess what? Upset special, Ohio over Pitt. +4. They're winning outright, +150. And that's not even my money line pick of the week. Old Dominion at Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech's laying 28.5. The over-under is 56. I am taking Virginia Tech to win the game. The play here, the under. I just think that the score is going to be like a 35-7 type of game. UAB Akron, interesting. UAB is laying 9. The over-under is 46. I think Akron will cover, but they won't win. UAB wins, Akron covers. By the way, Akron's +275 on the money line for those who are interested. Army at Michigan. Michigan's laying 22.5. The over-under is 48.5. I think Michigan wins the game, and I like the under 48.5 as my play here. Vanderbilt against Purdue. Purdue's favored by 6.5. The over-under is 55.5. I'm taking Purdue to win. The play over 55.5. Cincinnati, Ohio State. Ohio State's laying 16. The over-under is 52.5. I'm taking Ohio State to win, and I'm taking them to cover the 16 points. I just think that they're going to destroy Cincinnati, and I think they win this game somewhere like a 40-20 type of game. Syracuse at Maryland at 12 o'clock on ESPN. Maryland's favored by 1.5. The over-under is 58.5. This was tough because Maryland's favored here, and Syracuse obviously is playing Clemson next week, so the world is on Maryland because everyone's saying trap game Syracuse, but this isn't a trap game. They're not even a favorite. Oh my God. And guess what? Syracuse is going to win this game outright. Plus 112 on the money line, and they're getting a point and a half. So the pick here, Syracuse plus 1.5 and straight up. West Virginia, Missouri, 12 o'clock on ESPN2. Missouri's laying 14. The over-under is 62.5. I'm taking Missouri to win the game, and I'm taking them to cover the 14. I just think they're better than what they showed last week. I just think that was a tough spot for them. And I think that Kelly Bryant's going to cut it down on the turnovers. He's going to put up a big game against West Virginia, who did not inspire anybody last week against James Madison by any stretch of the imagination. They pushed in that game, 20-13. So I'm taking Missouri to win the cover. I think that's a 20-point win for Mizzou. Bowling Green at Kansas State. Kansas State's laying 24. The over-under is 58.5. I'm taking Kansas State to win. The play here, the under 58.5. Northern Illinois at Utah. Utah favored by 21.5. The over-under is 44. I'm going to take Utah to win, but the under here, I just think this is like a 30-10 win for Utah. So there's like an argument to be made for the plus 21.5 for Northern Illinois, but I like the under better. You have Robert Morris and Kentucky State in the FCS, so I'm going to skip that. South Florida, Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech favored by 6.5. The over-under 6.5. I love South Florida here to bounce back and win. Georgia Tech sucks. Give me South Florida plus 6.5 to win outright plus 180. So South Florida wins and obviously covers the 6.5 in doing so. Ball State hosts Fordham. They're laying 28. The over-under is 51. I'm taking Ball State to win, but the play here, I'm going to say the under. Because I just think that Ball State is sort of inept offensively. So I could see this being like a maybe 35-10 maybe. Texas A&M, Clemson. Clemson's laying 17. The over-under 63.5. The world loves A&M to cover. This is shootout. This screams push. I'm taking Clemson to win, but I like the over 63.5. I love this as like a shootout type of game. I'm going to say that Clemson wins a game by a score of 43-26. So that gets the over, and obviously that's a push. Nebraska, Colorado, 3:30 on Fox. Colorado is getting 4 points. The over-under 64.5. This screams push too. I'm taking Nebraska to win the football game, and I'm taking over 64.5. Both of these teams can score. I think Nebraska really got itself going offensively in the second half against South Alabama, and that will translate here. I think Colorado will score with them. I can see Nebraska winning like a 40-36 type of ball game. Wisconsin hosts Central Michigan, 3:30. Wisconsin's laying 35, over under 53. I'm taking Wisconsin to win, but the play here is the over. Charlotte at Appalachian State. App State laying 22.5, over under 54. I'm taking App State to win and cover. Southern Miss, Mississippi State. Mississippi State laying 16.5. The over under is 51.5. I'm taking Miss State to win and the over 51.5. Illinois, UConn. Illinois laying 3 touchdowns on the road. That's unbelievable. Who would have had Lovie Smith as a 3-touchdown road favorite? Over under 59. I'm taking Illinois to win, but I like the under. UConn unders feel like a trend to me, and it worked out for me last week against an FCS team. Good FCS game, sort of, between in-state rivals, but North Dakota State's too big of a favorite. But I'm not going to pick FCS games. Unless if it's like big time, like a James Madison versus North Dakota State. Maybe once the playoffs get going, maybe I'll get into that a little more. UTSA at Baylor at 4 o'clock. Baylor's laying 25, over under 58. Taking Baylor to win. The play is the over. New Mexico State at Alabama at 4 o'clock. Bama's minus 55.5. The over under 64.5. Taking Bama to win. The play, the under. San Diego State at UCLA at 4:15. UCLA laying 8.5. The over under is 45.5. Guess what? I am taking San Diego State to not only cover the 8.5, but I think they win outright against Chip Kelly and the Bruins. San Diego State is better than what it showed last week against Weber State, and I'm really concerned about UCLA after their debacle of a performance against Cincinnati. So give me San Diego State plus 8.5, and I like them at plus 260 to win the game outright. Louisiana Monroe at Florida State. Florida State is laying 21.5. It's a 5 o'clock game. Over under 65. I'm taking Florida State to win, the play, the over. You got North Texas at SMU, 7 o'clock. SMU laying 2.5. Over under 72.5. I'm taking North Texas outright. They're getting 2.5. The money line's plus 120. Wyoming at Texas State. Wyoming -7. Over under 47.5. I'm taking Wyoming to win in the cover. BYU at Tennessee. Tennessee -4. Over under 52.5. I'm taking Tennessee to win and the cover. I just think BYU stinks. And Tennessee's going to bounce back after that Georgia State loss. And I think Jeremy Pruitt's going to get this team focused. UCF at FAU. UCF's laying 11. The over under 67. I'm taking FAU to cover, but UCF to win. So FAU plus 11, UCF to win. Western Kentucky at Florida International. FIU is -8. The over-under is 55.5. I'm taking FIU to win and cover. Coastal Carolina at Kansas. Kansas is laying 7.5. The over-under is 53.5. I'm taking Coastal Carolina to bounce back here after their loss to Eastern Michigan. And I think that Kansas isn't that good, obviously. So Coastal Carolina plus 7.5 to win it outright, plus 220. So I'm taking Coastal Carolina to win the game and obviously the cover. Biggest game of the weekend in college football, LSU at Texas at 7:30 on ABC. Kirk Herbstreit, Reese Davis, and Maria Taylor. LSU laying 6.5, the over-under 57.5. Everyone loves LSU in this game. Everyone. This game, I think, opened up at 4. It's up to 6.5. Everyone's overreacting to their dominant win over Georgia Southern. Everyone. I think LSU is a better team than Texas, but they shouldn't even be this substantial as a favorite at the Longhorn Stadium. No. This game is not in Jerry World, for crying out loud. If this game was being played in Jerry World, I'd make LSU a 6-point favorite. Or maybe a 3-point favorite or 4-point favorite. But this is at freaking Austin. Are you kidding me? Joe Burrow and Sam Ehlinger, I think the quarterback matchup's even. LSU has the defensive advantage, but LSU in big spots like this on the road makes me very weary. I think that crowd in Austin is going to be ruckus, and I think that the defense will make a couple big stops, and guess what? I'm taking the Texas Longhorns to win this game outright. Plus 6.5. They're plus 180 on the money line, so I'm taking Texas to win, and obviously to cover the 6.5. And Reese Davis says Texas is back, folks. I'm going to roll my eyes because even if they win this game, Texas is not back. Sorry. Western Michigan at Michigan State. Michigan State is laying 16. The over-under is 46.5. I am going to take the under in this game at 46.5. Spartans will win this game outright, obviously, as a 16-point favorite. They should win. I don't know if they'll cover, but they'll win the game. But I'm taking the under 46.5. Sparty unders against a group of 5 tend to work out. Liberty and UL Lafayette. UL Lafayette's a 2-touchdown favorite, and the over-under is 65.5. Guess what? I expect Liberty to bounce back in a big way, and I think they're going to win this game outright. Yes, I said it. I'm taking the plus 14. I'm taking the money line of plus 390. This is my money line pick of the week, sponsored by DraftKings. Liberty outright over Louisiana Lafayette. Tulane at Auburn. I have Auburn favored, or they have Auburn favored by 17.5. The over under 51.5. This is a tough one. I'm going to go with the over 51.5. Although taking Tulane, the cover is kind of sexy. I'm just going to bet my gut and say that the over happens. I like the over better than taking Tulane in the 17.5. I think both of these teams will put up their fair share of points, and I think that Auburn will go to 2-0. So Auburn wins, but I like over 51.5. Arkansas at Ole Miss on the SEC Network at 7:30. Ole Miss is favored by 6.5, over under 50.5. I'm taking Ole Miss to win and cover. I just don't think Arkansas is very good. And I think this is a prime bounce back spot for Ole Miss. 7:30 Nevada and Oregon. Oregon -24, over under 61.5. I'm taking Oregon to win, prime bounce back spot for them. Let down for Nevada after the win over Purdue. And I'm taking the over 61.5 as the side here. So give me Oregon to win, over 61.5. Buffalo, Penn State. Penn State minus, wait for it, 30.5. The over-under is 56. I'm taking Penn State to win the game, but I like the over 56. I think that Penn State can get to 50 by themselves in this game. Eastern Michigan at Kentucky. Kentucky's laying 15. The over-under is 53.5. I'm taking Kentucky here to win. And again, I'm going to go with the over. I liked what I saw from Kentucky offensively towards the end of that game. And Eastern Michigan's a team that can score. So I like the over here, and I think Kentucky obviously wins the game. Utah State hosts Stony Brook. Stony Brook is getting 33. The over-under is 58.8. I'm taking Utah State to win. I like the over 58 as the play, though. 8 o'clock ACC Network, Miami at North Carolina. Miami's laying 5. The over-under is 46.5. This game, or this line, should be a lot higher, in my opinion. And I think Miami's the better team, better quarterback. And Mac Brown gets his first loss. And I think North Carolina won the game more because of the ineptitude of Jake Bentley and South Carolina's offense more than about them. So give me Miami to win and to cover the 5 easily. I think that's a double-digit win for the Hurricanes. UTEP at Texas Tech. Texas Tech's laying 34. Over under 65. I'm taking Texas Tech to win. The play here is the over. Tulsa at San Jose State at 9 o'clock. Tulsa's laying 6.5. The over under is 52. I'm taking Tulsa to win. And I'm taking them to cover 2. They're just better than San Jose State. Arkansas State at UNLV. UNLV's -1. The over under 63.5. I'm taking Arkansas State to win this game outright as a 1-point dog. And I think they obviously cover the +1. Stanford at USC. USC's favored by 3. Over-under is 43.5. This is tough because both quarterbacks are out. Obviously, Castillo from Stanford, concussion, and Daniels of USC, torn ACL, out for the season. I'm taking Stanford to win this game outright, but I don't feel good about it. So my play for this game, under 43.5. I love the under, but I think Stanford wins. I take a dab at the money line at +128, and I, more importantly, take the dab at under 53.5. Minnesota at Fresno State. Minnesota's laying 3.5 for under 47. I'm taking Fresno plus the 3.5, and I like them to win outright. Money line +128. Cal at Washington. Washington -13.5. The over-under is 43.5. I'm taking Washington to win and to cover the 13.5. They're just significantly better than Cal. And then at midnight Eastern time, Oregon State at Hawaii. Hawaii -6.5. The over-under 78.5. I'm taking the Beavers +6.5, and guess what? I'm taking them outright too at +180. I just think that Hawaii was lucky to win that game last week, and Arizona made a lot of mistakes. That was 2 weeks ago, by the way. And I think Oregon State is an improved team a little bit, but I don't know if the win-loss record will show for it. They're just better than Hawaii. Give me Oregon State +6.5, and I like them to win the game outright at +180. NFL. Week number 1. Redskins, Eagles. I'm not going to do game descriptions. I'm just going to pick and play. So pick meaning straight up, and then play meaning an angle. I'm playing the Eagles -10. I think they win the game 30-10. I just think that Wentz is going to look fine against a Redskins defense that is okay, but I just think the Eagles offense is better. Bills, Jets -2.5. The over-under is 40.5. I'm taking the Jets to win this game 27-20, and I'm taking the Jets -2.5. By the way, the over-under in the Redskin-Eagle game 44.5. Ravens, Dolphins. Ravens -7. The over-under is 39.5. Guess what? I'm taking Miami +7, and guess what? I'm taking the Dolphins outright over the Ravens 24-23. I just think that the Dolphins have a thing in them with home openers for some weird reason. Chiefs, Jaguars. Chiefs -3.5. The over-under is 52. I'm taking the Kansas City Chiefs to win and cover this game 27-13. Titans, Browns. The Browns are laying 5.5. The over-under is 45.5. I'm taking the Browns to win this game 27-13. Browns cover. Rams, Chargers. I'm taking the Rams 24-20, so the Rams will cover. Falcons, Vikings. I'm taking the Vikings -4. I think they win 30-23. But my play here is the over in this game, 47.5. I love the over more than I do with the Vikings covering. Bengals, Seahawks. Seahawks -9.5. The over-under is 43.5. Seahawks win 26-13, but the play here is the under, 43.5. Colts, Chargers. Chargers -6.5. The over-under is 44. Guess what? Upset. I'm taking the Colts 23-20 outright. Indy +6.5 is the play, and I think they win outright too. Buccaneers host the 49ers. 49ers are getting 1.5. The over-under is 50.5. I've taken the Niners to win this game, 34-27. But my play here is the over 50.5. I feel better about the over than I do about the Niners. Giants, Cowboys. The Giants are getting 7.5. The over-under is 45.5. I think the Cowboys win this game by a score of 24-16. But my play here is under 45.5. Lions, Cardinals. Lions laying 2.5. The over-under is 46. I'm taking Detroit to win this game 26-16. I'm sorry, 27-16 I've written down. And I'm taking Detroit minus 2.5 as my play. Steelers, Patriots. Patriots laying 5.5. The over-under is 49.5. I think New England wins 33-26. And I think that the Patriots will cover the 5.5. So, give me the Patriots to cover the 5.5. I don't feel good about that one. Monday night. Texans, Saints. Saints favored by 7, over under 52. I'm taking New Orleans to win this game 35-30. So the play here for me is the over 52. I love the over in that game. Denver, Oakland. Denver favored by 1. It was 3, but Antonio Brown is back. So that's 2 points worth it for the Raiders, who are still a 1-point underdog in this game. Over under 43. I'm taking Denver to win this game 26-20, and I'm laying the point with the Denver Broncos. So again, repeat the picks in terms of sides. Eagles minus 10. Jets minus 2.5. Dolphins plus 7 and outright plus 250 on the money line. Chiefs minus 3.5. Browns minus 5.5. Rams minus 2. Falcons, Vikings over 47.5, although I have the Vikings winning the game. Bengals, Seahawks under 43.5, although I have the Seahawks winning the game. Colts plus 6.5, and they're winning that thing outright plus 230. 49ers, Buccaneers over 50.5. I have the Niners winning. Giants, Cowboys under 45.5. I'm having the Cowboys winning the game, though. Lions minus 2.5. Patriots minus 5.5. Texans, Saints over 52. Taking the Saints to win the game. And Broncos, Raiders. I'm taking the Broncos minus 1. All right. Best bet of the day brought to you by DraftKings. I'm going to be very, very fast here with the best bet. I'm going to go to tennis first. I'm going to take Rafael Nadal in the semifinal over Matteo Berrettini, and I'm taking Daniil Medvedev over Grigor Dimitrov as well. College football tonight, I'm taking Wake on the money line. And that's going to bring that down to minus 139. I'm taking Boise on the money line. That brings it up to plus 105. And I'm going to go to baseball, and I'm going to take a couple games I feel very strongly about, including the Chicago White Sox over the Angels. I'm going to take the Twins over the Indians. I'm not super about that pick, but I'm going with it. I'm going to take the Astros over the Mariners. I'm taking the Athletics over the Tigers. And although those two teams are, or who has the suspended game that's like a makeup? I don't remember. I forgot to mention that there was a suspended game that's going to be makeup. I think the Tigers are involved in that. And I'm taking the Dodgers against the Giants. And I'm staying away from the Rockies-Padres game. So that's 12-19. I'm only going to wager a small number, 26 cents. Payout, $3.43. That's it for the podcast today. I'll be back on Monday recapping all the football stuff from the weekend. Baseball, tennis, FIBA World Cup. We'll recap as well. And we will talk to you on Monday. Have a great weekend, everyone.